It's a very interesting tack there, Jesse, because Gavin Newsom, who wants to be president, is downplaying assassination attempts against the president of the United States in order to score political points. Does this land?
You know, he doesn't exploit the 3 times someone tried to kill him. I mean, you'd think Donald Trump would exploit that more. The other day he was asked about it and he made a joke like, yeah, I'm not going to wear a bulletproof vest. I'd look too fat. I mean, like, come on, give this guy a break. He could be jamming it down their throats every day. Imagine if this had happened to Joe Biden. They would have indicted Fox. But he kind of plays it cool because he doesn't want it to affect him. He doesn't want to cower, and he doesn't want to have to change his habits. The judge is a DEI type of guy. He's apologized to victims before, or to people he tried to frame as victims. But when you do this, you kind of create a permission structure for other wannabe assassins that, like, you too will be treated sympathetically by institutions, which are supposed to be fair. And this guy's against incarceration. He's on the record of doing everything he can not to incarcerate people. This is how lucky sometimes the president gets. In the Battle of Stalingrad, World War II, biggest battle in world history.
I know you're a fan.
You had a German tank unit sitting in reserve in the grasslands outside the city waiting for the call. All of a sudden, this commander calls, let's go, get them to the front lines. None of the tanks worked. They had 100 tanks out there. Only 20 were able to move. It turns out, since they've been sitting there for so long, mice had crawled into the gears and chewed up the infrastructure along the electricity and had rendered them inoperable. And it's like the mice defeated the Germans. It's like you can have the best tank in the world, the best type of engineering, and a stupid field mice can get in there and shut your tank down. This is what it's like with the Secret Service. They can be perfect. They can be well-armed. They can have all this money. But it only takes one little thing to get in there and take a shot at the president. You can't joke about it.
Well, also, you can't downplay it by saying that, you know, oh, we're so sorry for the conditions that you found yourself in. I mean, at some point, the federal judiciary, even though this is a magistrate judge who was not appointed by the president, at some point you have to acknowledge that actions have consequences, Harold.
Look, I understand. I agree with you. The judge should have spared us his expression of frustration around this and for this defendant, for the questions he was asking about a suicide cell watch and a Bible. He appeared to be advocating for the defendant. And we expect our jurists in this country to conduct fair trials. We expect them to follow the rule of law. But what we don't expect is for them to be advocates for an accused murderer, someone who's attempted to murder the president. I don't know. Gavin, that was not the right tone for Governor Newsom. President Trump, there's been at least 3 efforts on his life. And however you view or grade or assess his politics has nothing to do with any of that. So I hope the governor clarifies that, and I hope the judge gets back to being fair and unbiased in the courtroom.
Yeah, and, you know, it's very interesting, Dana, because you would think that these people who are running for president, again, you know, going back to J.B. Pritzker and Gavin Newsom, you would think that they would be so concerned about how easy it has been to get that close to and to access, you know, what could be a fatal interaction with the president. And are they saying that they assume that when there's a Democrat president, that there will no longer be political hostilities and chaos in this country, that everyone will go back to normal and no one will seek violent means in order to achieve their political ends?
Well, at least Gavin didn't say it was staged. I mean, that's a step up from the immediate reaction from the left. Joy Reid expressed her bitter disappointment. Kidding, I don't have any idea what she said. And also, I think that right now, because the 2028 cycle is starting so early, especially with so many Democrats wanting to run, it is almost like you have to grade on a curve. It's like, well, 20% of what he's saying is because of this, 20% is for that. And it's hard to figure out what he actually really believes. Of course, if he were to ever get to the Oval Office, he would want the utmost security for himself and his family and his first partner. Yeah. But also on the Cole Allen thing, the guy did have a death wish. he said he didn't expect to come out alive.
Yes.
He had suggested that, as I understand it, the prison guards or the prison who take him, who do the intake, they are worried that could happen. And imagine if he had killed himself. Then what are we supposed to do? Because look what happened on the whole Epstein thing. That came down to the guards being blamed, right? And so the prison is responsible for him when he is taken into custody. And is it really that bad to be off your phone for 24 hours? I mean, I would actually welcome it on a Saturday.
Yes, but you know, to Dana's point, Greg, you know, here we are in this situation, and you have a guy who writes a manifesto talking about, you know, the whole thing reads like a suicide note.
Right.
So why wouldn't you put him on suicide watch? And is this hearing really the best time to indict the Bureau of Prisons?
Well,
because you can have that conversation at some point.
the judge's reaction is deliberate, part of a larger strategy, which is designed to minimize the horror and the harm of the act and elevate the status of the shooter to a heroic martyr. You see this with Luigi. You see this with anybody who commits what's called political crime these days, even though political violence is just violence. Adding the word political just elevates it to some kind of importance that it doesn't merit. Gavin, okay, if you're going to accuse victims of crime and tragedy as exploiting crime or tragedy, with this logic, then all victims should just lie down and enjoy it. Don't speak out. Don't press charges. Spencer Pratt, his house burned down. He has no right to discuss it. Someone tries to kill you 3 times. Stop whining. Call me when you're misgendered. Then I'll be there. But the judge apologized not once, but 3 times. 3 times. I bet he's never apologized once to a victim. He's a bow tie douchebag. What is it with bow ties? He says jail limited this guy's freedom. It's called jail. What do you expect? Relay races and face painting, you moron? I think this is more about the acceptance and admiration of political violence on the left. And before you say both sides, Harold, I want to point out the data is clear. It's in the polling. People on the left just will believe political violence is justified much more than people on the right. This is a problem. You don't put on a show unless you have an audience for it. And I think we're in the beginning of a show where the old days, a person's savior complex, you joined Greenpeace or PETA, you know, or you talked about nuclear power. But now the savior complex is directed at an existential threat called Trump, which is worse than nuclear power and global warming. So what you're doing is you're adding gravity and sentiment to a person's act. Previously, that person had nothing. So all these guys, they're not have-nots, these guys. They're all kind of healthy, educated, come from good families. They're doing this, but it's a savior complex.
And it's also, when you tag on the word political, terrorism.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.